risky behavior.
The views and opinions expressed on this channel are solely those of the host and guest and are intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only. This channel does not promote bias, hatred, or discrimination of any kind. All questions posed and thoughts shared are part of a critical thinking exercise and are not meant to offend or judge any individual or group. We encourage respectful dialogue and love for all. Please remember to think critically and engage thoughtfully. We aim to foster a positive and inclusive community where everyone feels welcome. Thank you for being a part of Risky Behavior ENT.
Risky behavior.
Yo, what's up? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Risky Behavior ENT. I'm your humble host, Mr. Diabolical himself. Here we talk about human behavior. Got a very sad story here. As always, I do like to cover stories with children. I feel like they are the least protected. This is going to be another tragic case. It's going to be a little different because this case is not a case of parental violence. This January 2025 murder of 13-year-old Kanaya Baker in South Carolina highlights systemic failures. Two teenage girls aged 15 and 16 were charged with murder, arson, and desecration of human remains. Baker was found severely burned in an abandoned house. All three girls had a history of trauma and involvement with child welfare systems. Without any further ado, go ahead and let's break some news.
Manner of death is not an accident, and this is not a suicide. This is a horrible homicide.
That was Richland coroner Nada Rutherford just a couple hours ago giving a shocking update on the heartbreaking murder of 13-year-old Kanaya Baker. Now tonight, Columbia police say two teenage girls are facing murder charges with potential to be prosecuted as adults in connection to Baker's death. News 19's Victoria Samuels shares what police said happened to this 13-year-old.
Brutal, heinous, vicious, gruesome, monstrous. Brutal, heinous, vicious.
I apologize. I don't know why that popped up in the middle of this news story.
Gruesome, monstrous, and disturbing. These are the words I use to describe this murder investigation.
That investigation began Wednesday when a body was found inside a burning home on Cardamom Court. Richland County Coroner Nada Rutherford says DNA and dental records were needed to identify the victim as 13-year-old Kanaya Baker, who had been reported missing earlier this week. Rutherford said that Kanaya had been bludgeoned, stabbed, and burned.
And unfortunately, the description provided of Kanaya Baker was so different, in fact, that even the pictures that they sent of her just did not seem to match up. Due to severe trauma to her head, face, and body, visual identification just was not possible. The manner of death is not an accident, and this is not a suicide. This is a horrible homicide.
Columbia Police Chief Skip Holberg announced today that two suspects in the murder were arrested overnight. One is a 16-year-old girl who Holberg says had been in DJJ custody and had recently removed an ankle monitor. The other suspect is a 15-year-old girl. Holberg says both of the teens are frequent runaways. Richland's solicitor says based on the level of the crime, they are looking to charge the teens as adults.
But based on what we've seen at this point, it was brutal, it was heinous, it was all of those words the chief used. And we expect, after the review of this information, to petition the family court to prosecute these juveniles as adults because of the heinous nature of what happened.
police have not announced a motive in the case. In Columbia, Victoria Samuels, News 19, WLTX.
And Columbia City officials are also speaking out about 13-year-old Kanaya Baker's murder. The city manager, Teresa Wilson, saying in part, Kanaya's death has shaken me at my core. Then she goes on to say we must continue to ensure that all of our children are protected and surrounded with the resources they deserve. We'll, of course, continue to follow any and all updates surrounding this story and share them with you right here on air and online at WLTX.com.
Alrighty. Now I have an article here from usatoday.com. Oh my God. You would not believe. Uh I'm not laughing at this story. I'm laughing at myself because I didn't pause and the video correctly when I switched my screen share, and the sound from the video that was playing afterward had these horns in it, and it was just like in my headphones, like uh this is crazy. Alrighty, let's get into this. I always like to play the video, then I always like to read the article. Sometimes articles have extra, bits of information in them that are not in the news video that was appeared on the news. So, all right, here it says a 13-year-old's brutal murder, the teen girls who were arrested, and what parents can learn. And I wonder would this article include a motive, because I'd be like wondering. I mean, these are young women. You would not think they would be involved in things like this. So here it says, they do the quote here that says brutal, heinous, vicious, gruesome, monstrous, and disturbing. Those are the opening words Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook used to describe the killing of a 13-year-old Kanaya Baker. Whose body was found on January 15 in abandoned South Carolina house. Police arrested and charged two girls aged 15 and 16 with murder in the homicide case. Baker's body was found 20 miles away from where she was previously reported missing from foster care. According to comments Holbrook made in a January 18 press conference, Baker suffered traumatic injuries and was severely burned to the point visual identification was not possible. According to Holbrook and Richland County Coroner Nada Rutherford, Rutherford said the coroner's office used clothing and dental records to extract DNA and confirm Baker's identity. The incident raises questions about a rise in teen homicides and the social determinants of health that impact youth violence. Both teen suspects were frequently runaways who had dropped out of high school. The 16-year-old has a history of disorderly conduct and was wanted by the Department of Juvenile Justice for cutting off her ankle monitor. Both girls were also charged with arson, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, and desecration of human remains. The article goes on to say, and this is a quote, all of the girls involved had some sort of affiliation with systems that were supposed to protect them. And I believe the system failed all three of these young women, Rutherford told USA Today, adding that shrinking allocation of mental health resources has contributed to the problem. The number of young people ages 12 to 17 killed by homicides nearly doubled between 2019 and 2022, from 717 deaths in 2018 to 1,409 in 2022, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Mm, 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 mm. Youth violence tied to children's environments, social determinants of health. University of South Carolina criminology and criminal justice professor Hayden Smith said that the case indicates that there was a presence of underlying trauma for all three girls involved. He said rising youth violence is tied to children's environments and social determinants of health, such as access to stable housing and education. Even beyond a traumatic event like this, for the group of people who are exposed to these adverse childhood experiences, they tend to last a lifetime unless you can counterbalance with resiliency, certain skills, stability, and positive experiences, Smith said. Having adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, ACES, before the age of 18 can lead to lifelong physical and mental impacts, according to Smith. 3 and 4 high school students reported experiencing one or more ACEs in the 2023 Youth Risk Behavior Survey from the CDC. Okay. ACEs include experiencing violence, abuse, or neglect, witnessing violence in the home or community, or having a family member attempt or die by suicide. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, environmental factors like growing up with substance use and mental health problems, instability due to a household member being incarcerated, or growing up in a household with parental separation can also impact children's brain development and decision making. Experts say investing money in the welfare system, foster care system, and devoting attention and trained professionals to vulnerable youth can help mitigate youth violence. Smith said cognitive behavioral therapists have emerged as the best approach to ACEs, but must be combined with environmental changes and the stable, positive influence of mentors and peers. In the wake of the incident, members of local government and law enforcement addressed the homicide in connection with with system support for youth mental health. City manager of Columbia, Teresa Wilson, said Baker's death shook her to her core and called on community members and parents to support the city's youth and young mothers. And this is a quote from Wilson. I am reminded by the senseless act and other recent events in our city of the importance of being present in our children's lives and creating a safe, nurturing environment for them to grow and thrive. Wilson shared in an Instagram post, our city is at its strongest when we engage with one another, invest in our communities, and work together to reduce youth violence. Oh man, it's a sad story. You would never think or guess, or at least I would never guess or think that two young ladies, that these young ladies would do that to each other. I wonder what this is about. Um, I don't want to be silly and say it's probably over a boy. I hope they wouldn't do this. I've seen a story like this before, and it was just they had this young girl, and I mean, it shocked me too because for me, I don't think many people see stuff like cases like this all the time. But it's only one other one I could think of. Young girl, these were her friends. As a matter of fact, she snuck out the house to go hang out with them, and I mean, they killed her, and it was just some. It was like they was just jealous. It was just some jealousy thing. They felt like maybe she had like a better life than them, and they just didn't want to be her friend no more. And instead of just not hanging out with her no more, they invited her out, like, "Hey, we're gonna go hang out." And you know, she was murdered. So that's just sad. Oh man. Whew. Well, these are my final thoughts. Kanaya Baker's murder wasn't just a horrific act; it was the culmination of years of neglect, trauma, and systemic breakdowns. All three girls had histories with foster care, juvenile justice, and mental health services. They were runaways, disconnected from school, and left to navigate chaos without consistent support. I got a little bit tongue tied there. Probably been staring at this computer screen too long. Now, here's what we can learn from this. Trauma doesn't disappear, it compounds. Adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, something we talked about earlier, like abuse, neglect, or instability, shape brain development, decision making, and emotional regulation. Without intervention, they can lead to lifelong harm or, in this case, irreversible tragedy. Next point here would be youth violence is preventable, but only if we act early. Investing in mental health care, mentorship, and stable environments isn't optional. It's life-saving. Cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-informed care, and community-based programs work, but they need funding, trained professionals, and public will. Next up is parents and caregivers must stay present, even when it's hard. Being emotionally available, setting boundaries, and advocating for your child's needs can be exhausting, but disengagement leaves space for instability to take root. As Columbia City Manager said, our city is at its strongest when we engage with one another. Last but not least, we must stop blaming kids for the system that failed them. The teen suspects didn't just wake up violent, they were shaped by environments that normalize chaos and pain. Accountability matters, but so does compassion, especially when the roots of violence are planted in childhood. If we want fewer headlines like Kanaya's, we need more frontline action, more listening, more intervention, and more love backed by structure. Because every child deserves safety, stability, and a future. And when we fail one, we fail all. Let's be adults who show up before it's too late. Thank you. As always, get in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, share it with a friend, have the conversation, subscribe for more content. This is Risky Behavior. I am Diabolical, and I thank you for coming through. Be blessed. Have a good day, good night. Whenever you're watching this video, be safe out there. Thank you.
Risky behavior.